Just wanted to update you. I posted a GoFundMe on my Twitter recently to raise money for my surgery. And basically what this is, it's called an excision surgery. Before I posted this, I reached out on Twitter kind of asking if anybody knew of a way for me to find funding or something that could help pay for my surgery. And I didn't really get any answers. There's not a lot of people who really know about it. Before I had it, I didn't know about it. For some reason, a lot of surgeons are out of pocket for this sort of specialty. They don't necessarily get paid enough by the government or other insurance providers. It sucks, but there's not enough funding from the government or anything like that in the US to support this. I'm just gonna quickly kind of go over it. I have most of my story up on the GoFundMe if you want to check it out. If you can't afford to donate, that is perfectly fine. I don't expect anybody to do that if they're unable to. If you could, just share it. I just need to get it out there so that I can get the help that I need. So basically what endo is, endometriosis, it is for women. It affects, your uterus. So the tissues lining your uterine lining, they kind of grow outside of the uterus, and that can cause a number of things, a number of symptoms, and I've listed all of them on all of my personal symptoms from this. It is an autoimmune disease, so there is no known cure currently. There's nothing that I can do to rid this disease from my body forever. However, there are numerous treatments. One of those treatments being surgery. And there's two types of surgery that you can get if you have endometriosis. There's ablation surgery, where they go in with kind of a laser and kind of burn away all the affected tissues. And then there's excision surgery, which is what I'm saving for. It's where a team of surgeons, they go in for around 6 hours, maybe more, depending on how much the disease has spread through your body, and they cut away all of that diseased tissue. It's a pretty big surgery because you don't really know what you're getting into. Some people that I've talked to that have had this surgery, they've come out without, with their uterus removed or their gallbladder removed because the disease had spread that far. So it's kind of scary not knowing. I think that's the scariest part, is not knowing what's going to happen when you go in. So my initial consultation appointment is on the 13th of January. It's a few days after my birthday. He is completely out of pocket for that, so it's $500. The initial surgery, which I don't have a set date for that yet, I'll know after the consultation, and I'll keep you guys updated, of course. That can be anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000. I read on it, and you can ask your insurance to reimburse you. However, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to reimburse you, just because endo isn't really seen as a disability from the government's perspective. It's not seen as a disability. I don't know why. It's a very disabling condition, so I'm not sure why the government doesn't look at it as a disability. I've been going through this for a few years now. My pain was manageable up until this past year. I was a full-time college student. I was working technically full-time. I was working 30 plus hours a week. I started having more cystic ruptures, which, if you don't know what that is, basically a cyst gets into your fallopian tube and it kind of just explodes. And for some women, they don't feel it, they don't have any feeling at all. And for other women, like myself, it is the most excruciating pain you will ever feel in your entire life. Sometimes it can kind of explode your fallopian tubes and you bleed internally, and then you have to go to the hospital. So basically, it's not a fun time. I had cystic ruptures once a month for the last few years, and they were obviously awful. They would only last around an hour or two, and this year my longest cystic rupture has lasted over 12 hours, and that was on Mother's Day, I believe, was the 12-hour one. So my disease has definitely progressed to the point where I can no longer work or go to school or basically even leave my house most days. I'm in a lot of pain most of the time, and it's become unmanageable. So that's why this surgery is so important to me, because I've tried so many treatments. However, I can't try birth control or anything like that that would fluctuate my hormones or stabilize them, because I have cancers on both sides of my family. So it wouldn't be wise for me to do birth control. I've just had a lot of family members who have had really bad experiences with all types of birth control, and when you have endo, you're already at risk for ovarian cancer. So I have breast cancer on both sides of my family, and then now I am more likely to get ovarian cancer as well. So I'd rather not take birth control. I've already decided that that is not the path for me. Since there's not a lot of research done on endometriosis yet, and there's not a lot of funding, my treatments are limited to this surgery. And the surgery can last forever. Some women get this surgery and they don't have pain ever again, or if they do, it's very minimal and they're able to manage it. Other women, it only lasts 2 to 4 years before the disease grows back and kind of takes over their life again. So it's pretty much a gamble, but it's something that I have to do, because if I don't, then I will just continue to get worse, and the disease, it never stops spreading. So it can go up into your lungs. I knew somebody who had endo, and they had seizures from it. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you about that a little bit before we get started, because this is very important to me, and I never planned on making a GoFundMe or anything like that. I do agree that I need help, and maybe I'll be able to find somewhere to fund it. I have reached out to the Endometriosis Association. I emailed them, and they have not emailed me back. So I'm not sure where that's gonna go, but maybe they'll have some answers for me. All of the types of charities and things that I've looked into for endo and other pelvic related or other autoimmune diseases and things like that, they don't actually fund like surgeries or medical treatment. They only fund research. But yeah, I'm so glad that I was able to come on here and talk to you guys about it, because for the first few months I've been doing this VTubing thing, I really didn't plan on talking about my situation, I guess I should say, because I just didn't want it to be a part of who I am, you know? I didn't want it to be what I'm known for. However, I don't know, I see people on here being so open and honest about, you know, their disabilities or their mental illnesses, and I guess it inspired me to open up as well, especially with the condition that I'm in. This has kind of taken over my life, so I feel like it's only fair to let you guys in on what's going on, you know, on a day that I may miss stream, or you know, it's just something that I wanted to let you in on, because it's only fair, you know. And if I can even be there for somebody else who is going through the same thing, that would be really nice. To wrap this up, if you have any questions about kind of what's going on, or anything that isn't covered in my little description on the fundraiser, then feel free to ask me. I'm very open about my medical situation. Honestly, I'd rather spread what I'm going through and my experiences than have you look it up and get the wrong idea, because a lot of the information that's online is just not necessarily correct, or at least to my experience. It's not correct, and a lot of the valuable information that I've learned is actually from people who have endometriosis and have spoke about their stories. So if you have any questions about that, or know somebody that is in the situation that I am and is struggling to get help or find treatment, feel free to ask me about my experiences. I'm super open about it. I also wanted to mention that I have my goal set to 500, and like I said, the surgery is 4,000 to 10,000. So if we reach, enough to pay for my surgery, I will donate the rest of the money. I don't know if I'll donate it to a PCOS foundation or an endo-related charity, but I do plan on donating it, the rest of the money. So if you can, just like, share, whatever you gotta do. If you can't donate, I really appreciate it. So anyway,